everyone. Thanks for
Hello.
having us. I'm just getting 2 seconds. No. Can you guys see it?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. So just a quick introduction. I'm April. This is June. We're both broker owners and own Mortgage Simplicity, which our brokerage is located in Sharon. We have access to multiple products and lenders, including top banks. We have A status with our lenders, so we get access to lower rates, and we service mortgages anywhere in Canada and pride ourselves in fast, dedicated service. Oh, why is it going to the next slide? Oh,
There we go.
hold on. Okay, so financing options for mobile modular homes. So we've finally been able to get a lender that is able to do it, a credit union. We've successfully funded like 4 of them now. One in Sutton by the lake, one in Sandy Cove Acres in Innisfil, and then we've also done a couple of homes on like lease land in Innisfil. So like you guys know,
Cookstown area.
like, you know, the newer houses that they have, but they're on lease land, we've been able to get those funded too. And then we have a couple more that are in for approval right now, actually. So for mobile modular homes, they must be tied, blocked, and skirted. They can be owner occupied only, so no rentals. Insured options are available, so you can put less than 20% down on them. We can also do uninsured options, 20% down payment or more. Depending on how old the home is, sometimes they will scale back like the amortization. So if it's like over 50 years old, they may only max do like a 10-year amortization. So we really like to, like, if you guys are interested in, like, a client's interested in one, just send us the MLS listing and then we can send it to the lender so we can get like ahead of time, like how long that they will amortize it or what they are willing to do for that specific property. There always needs to be an appraisal that's required. So that's why we kind of recommend like a 7-day financing condition so that we can make sure everything's done in time. We have done it within 5 days, but I just like to, normally there's not like multiple offer situations happening on mobile homes. So if we can do a little bit longer financing condition, that's better. An estoppel certificate must be signed by the property management and park prepared by their solicitor. Sorry. We like to call it assignment of the lease because the estoppel certificate kind of sounds scary sometimes. There is a copy of the lease in this presentation that I'll show you that needs to be signed. But so we always like to just reach out to the property manager to make sure they're okay signing it. So far they have been and they've signed it. So there's been no issues. Like I said, we've kind of financed ones by Sutton by the Lake, Sandy Cove Acres.
We've had a little bit of like doing them obviously taught us how to, what curveballs and in things, et cetera, have come up, like the estoppel certificate. That was one that was like a little bit different to figure out. And then, you know, as you do them, we've been becoming like obviously more knowledgeable and now we know how they like it and what to ask for, et cetera. So it makes it a little bit easier going forward. We're just trying to get to the next slide here. One sec.
That's so weird.
So land lease options, owner occupied only. So as we said, it can't be rented. Insured options are available. Is this the same one now? Insured options are available, meaning you can put minimum down payment. So anytime somebody's occupying a home, they can do what's called an insured option and put minimum down payment. It's not only for first-time home buyers. And again, we can do them uninsured as well, which means they can put 20% down, amortizations up to 30 years, etc. Also, an appraisal is required. It can be waived if it's insured, because when an appraisal is required by the insurer will do it. So before they issue the commitment and have the deal approved, it would have been already either completed or signed off on. We also still recommend at least a 5-day financing condition for land lease options. Again, an estoppel certificate must be signed by the property management company or park, prepared by the solicitor. Mattamy Homes, Lake Haven in Innisfil. So this is a new kind of unique option. A lot of first-time home buyers are buying because it's a little bit cheaper, obviously, to get into home ownership. So, and again, at first, it was a little bit difficult to discover where to fit this, but now we've found where they fit, and now we're completing these types of transactions. So
There was also a property that we sent the lender to. Someone just reached out recently. It's in like Harcourt, Ontario, but the property is part of a corporation-based ownership model. So it's not a land lease. It operates in a similar way. So you own the cottage and the land it sits on, but your ownership is tied to shares in the corporation that governs the overall development. So as a shareholder, you have exclusive rights to your specific lot while sharing the maintenance and upkeep of common areas and roads. And they will also do that too. So kind of like a land lease, but it's a little bit different, but they're still willing to do properties like that, which is really great. So here is kind of
An
we
example.
could like send you guys this, but this is kind of like the assignment of lease that they kind of want signed. So that there's like a little bit of details in there. I don't want to waste too much every time going over it, but
Sometimes cottages are 3 seasons and can also be difficult to finance on occasion. They are allowed and insured options also available. So again, to purchase, say, a second home or a cottage that's 3 season with minimum down payment less than 20%, or again, obviously over 20% or more can be done. They must be worth under $1 million to be insurable. And appraisal also may be required if it's uninsured. Mortgages on seasonal residents will be subject to normal lending criteria plus the following. So again, owner occupied properties only, max loan to value, meaning the amount you can borrow, 75% LTV, year-round access is required. Confirmation of year-round property insurance. The foundation must be permanent, 3 to 4 piece bathroom, and a permanent heat source, for example, baseboard heating, forced air, propane, heat pumps, etc. Septic systems, holding tanks are acceptable as well. Potable water, so a cistern water system is also acceptable. Just because a lot of 3 season cottages, the reason why we stipulate some of these things is because they might not have year-round access or not have any kind of heating source, etc. So even though they're 3 season, they still need to have some of these things.
and there's an error in this presentation. So it
It's-
says
yeah.
insured options available, less than 20% down. You can do that on just normal cottages, but 3 season, they want like a minimum 25% down. So island properties like Georgina Island, Thor Island, that kind of thing. If it is on leased land, then they want it to be insured. So less than 20% down, or you could put more down, but you have to pay the insurance premium. But if it's not on a leased land, then they want like 35% down on like island properties. So it's been very difficult to kind of get island properties done, but they will do that. It needs to have a permanent foundation, a bathroom 3 or 4 piece, septic system or holding tank. It needs to have potable water, and it again, owner occupied, no rentals. And then another
Unique
agriculture farm lending, we can also get that done. So like a lot of lenders won't lend on like working farms. So this credit union will allow us to do it. They want an appraisal of the property, like a really extensive one that costs about $1,200 to $2,500. They want a potable water certificate, off-farm income to support all household debt. So that's really cool. So if they're getting off-farm income, we can use that in the application to help support it. An environmental phase 1 report, environmental checklist and transmittal letter addressed to them costs about $3,500 to $5,000. The maximum loan to value is 70%. So you have to put 30% down. And then the max amortization that they'll do is 25 years. But a lot of lenders won't do like farms. So it's kind of cool that we have access to someone that will do it now. And then lastly, this is just something unique that I wanted to tell you guys about. If you guys ever have clients that have purchased a property and they don't need a mortgage, but their sale of their house is closing on a different date than the purchase. So no A lenders will do just like a straight bridge loan. So that comes into problematic sometimes for everyone. So what we can do is set up a home equity line of credit for them. So then we can use to do the to bridge the difference of their closing costs and their payment and everything, because it's all wrapped up in their sale. So we are able to do like standalone HELOCs with some of our lenders. And the rate is actually lower than what a bridge loan is. So the rate is prime plus 0.5%, when a bridge loan is around prime plus 5. So we would approve the client for as much as they qualify for in a HELOC and then set up the remainder in a bridge loan. that's just kind of like an example of a pre-approval that we would send our realtor partners based on like what our clients are pre-approved for. So it really goes in with what the property taxes and stuff that we're using. And if it's a condo, obviously we would put condo fees and stuff in there. And then we obviously black out their debts and stuff for you guys, but in their copy, like we have clear of what debts they have to be open and what debts will need to be closed so that we make sure there's no discrepancy in the credit bureau or anything that we're missing, sort of thing.
Yeah. I think the most important thing I think with leased land is the communication with us and the individuals and the realtor. Obviously, like if they're looking at a place and they've seen it and they're very interested in making an offer, the first point of contact after that point would be us sending us the MLS listing, like April had said. That gives us an opportunity to submit it to the lender and have a quick peek at it to see if there's any issues prior to even preparing that offer. That doesn't take us very long to get an answer back, but because these properties are so particular, and just because like just alone in Sandy Cove Acres, for example, there's so many different properties, no different than regular properties, but you could get one that's fairly new or you could get one that's very old and run down. So the lender could make changes to that. So if we pre-qualify someone and say, yeah, you're pre-qualified to buy up to 300,000, that means that they can borrow that much, but we're basing that on a longer amortization, typically 25 years, sometimes 30. So if we send that listing in and the lender's saying, the max we're going to amortize this property over is 10 years, that's going to scale back what they can afford. So it's super important to have open communication, I think, getting that financing condition in so that we make sure that when they do make an offer and it gets accepted, that they're all in the clear before they waive their financing to make sure that it does actually close, because we don't want to ever have a situation where we get to funding and then there's an issue that we didn't kind of foresee or vet ahead of time. So that's why we really believe in the communication with the realtors and the clients along the way, just so that, it creates a seamless process. Just because these are very obviously different and there's not a whole lot of lenders that are willing to do these properties. So it's kind of like one shot. So we don't want to mess it up.
A lot of the time too, they like it to be insurable. So from like the insurers like CMHC or Sagen, but we recently just did one in Innisfil that the insurers wouldn't insure, but Cortha Credit Union really liked the deal. They liked the clients. They thought it was like a stable, solid deal. So they did us a favor and just like did a mortgage for it, like with them. So it's pretty awesome that.
And the rate was amazing. It was the same as if they didn't do it, like as if they did it insured. Usually insured rates are slightly lower than uninsured rates simply because there's an insurance premium that's added to the mortgage amount paid over the life of the mortgage. So yeah, I mean, in this case, these people, I don't think that there was any other option for them, and they were able to still get a mortgage at a decent interest rate and actually buy the property that was told no everywhere else. So yeah.
Anybody
That's
having
amazing. Questions, guys? Hands up or in the chat?
I guess we could have talked a little bit about Friday Harbor in here too, because it's a very unique style property. More lenders are starting to lend on it, so we're not finding as much difficulty on there as we used to several years ago. But Friday Harbor is another unique style of home ownership that we can finance as well.
That's good to know. We do quite a bit of business there, so that's really great to hear.
I live in Innisfil, so I know, and I've watched that whole thing go, and the amount of people that have bought in there. And initially, it wasn't, you couldn't occupy it for 365 days. Now you can, but there's a lot of components of Airbnb, and a lot of lenders don't like potential rent pooling that may happen in the future. So, I mean, a lot of people have their guard up about it, but now we're finally seeing, well, for the last, I guess, year and a bit, 2 years max, we started to see financing happening with certain lenders. Not all, some are still like, nope, absolutely not, but there's definitely financing options, so that's good.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear.
I feel like somebody has to have some question.
Yeah.
You guys are also
I know
quiet.
it was like
Someone unmute.
it was like so thorough that I like any questions I had have been answered.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking if there's anything else.
I
I know
tend
you
to
guys
shy
are super
away
responsive.
from these types of homes normally because of the financing issues. I mean, a lot of people do buy these outright. They're downsizing, they have the money, they're selling their home and they're buying them outright, but not everybody. Though the ability, I think, to be able to finance them is great. or even a little bit, right? If they need a little bit of financing and they wanted to keep some of their sale proceeds, for example, from downsizing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I do have a question actually. Do you guys have like for more older clients who are kind of more like face to face, do you do like in-person meetings with them?
That
To
was just like our
to
last
touch
one.
paperwork and like do all of that? Okay.
Yeah, they take obviously a little bit more time, you know, they prefer in person, 100% we do. We actually did a reel a while ago from one of our old clients who was in here. We were writing it all down and he was so
Love it.
the cutest person ever. But yeah, we definitely do because they're not tech savvy for one, and two, they even if they are tech savvy, they still kind of operate old school style where they want to come and meet you, even if there's nothing to do. Sometimes they email all their documents and yet they still want to just come in and say hi or bring us baked goods.
Yeah. Oh.
We do it. We do it all the
Say no to
time.
that.
They're actually the nicest people. Like they're so
I find
sweet.
actually a lot of people, even like younger people now too, like a lot of
Yeah.
people are requesting in-person meetings right now. They just feel more comfortable, I guess, speaking to someone
Yeah.
face to face. So we've actually been meeting a lot of clients lately. Like we'll accommodate people in evenings when we need to. We have we're a big office now. So now that we have our own brokerage, like we were down the street, me and June had our own little office, but now we have a whole house on Leslie Street in Sharon. So we have different rooms with offices. We have like a big open space too. And we have like, yeah, it's really nice.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Anna, do you have any other questions?
Me no.
Steph, I think you did.
Yeah, I was just gonna quickly ask about some of these more unique financing options. I mean, traditionally, you know, with a regular residential home, you might need a financing condition for 5 days. Would you recommend something longer when, you know, offering on some of these more unique?
Traditionally, like June and I, we actually are really known for like getting approvals really quick. So traditionally with like a normal mortgage, we can do it within like 2 days, no problem. But with stuff like this, we definitely recommend at least like 5 to 7 days. We've done it in 5. Giving 7 days is enough time to get the appraisal and everything done for sure.
And sometimes even, yeah, depending where it is, like Innisfil, there's a lot of appraiser companies around that we can get there and get it done. And we have relationships with those appraisal companies too. But when it's a little bit more rural, like if we get out to Island or unique things like that, I mean, the more days, the better. I have seen them come in with 10 days, which is great. We just ask that we at least get 5 days, business days. And then of course, 7 would be great on these things. Will we likely get it done sooner? Yes, but then we're not asking for an extension is the idea, right? We get the initial 5 or 7 days. We use those days rather than getting like, 5 days and finding out we needed 6, one more day. Cause we're at the lender's, control too, when they're looking at the property and reviewing documents, et cetera. So
I would say for like mobile modular homes, 7 is good. But then if it's just on lease land, like a normal home, 5 is like sufficient.
fine.
Awesome, thank you.
So good.
No problem.
Georgina, go ahead.
So typically for some lenders that will do the lease lands and the mobile modular homes, they require it to be default insured regardless of the down payment. Is that something that I guess that's different than with the credit union, that they'll just cap it only at the 20% down or under less than 20% is insured?
The credit union will do both. So they will make exceptions sometimes and not have to have the insurance premium or like not have to have it approved from Sagen or CMHC or Genworth.
Depending on the client.
But
Yeah, so it's unique to the credit union.
Property, yeah. So
Perfect. And then the second one is usually
we're super strong clients. So then the lender's like, the zero risk, lots of down payment.
yeah, exactly. And then the second is unique to those types of properties as well, as typically they don't allow those types of properties to be refinanced. It's kind of a purchase only and then no refinance on them. Is that different with the credit union as well then?
yeah, we can do refinances on them as long. Yes, we can.
Amazing. Thank you.
No problem.
So good. Any other questions? Amazing. Ladies, thank you so much for gifting us your time this morning. This was so great. Deanna, you had another one?
No, I was just unmuting to say thank you.
Love that.
Very well seeing you, Deanna.
We're gonna share your contact information as well in case anyone does have questions that maybe they just didn't think of right now, and we'll also share a replay so you can kind of take it all in again. And now go do some deals. Have an amazing weekend, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks so much, ladies.
Thank you.